What is up, everybody? We are back. We're here to talk about the Scottish Open. We have the Open Championship coming up next week, so it should be a lot of fun over the next couple weeks. This is kind of one of my favorite stretches, although sleep. Do get a little sleep deprived during these two events because obviously you're gonna have the late or early lineup lock, and then if you want to sweat your golfers, you're gonna have to be up throughout the night. But yeah, so this is going to be a fun event. Hope everyone had a little bit more success than I did at the John Deere. Not one of my best events, but we are looking to get back at it this week. We have the Renaissance Club. Now, the purists are going to say this is not a links course, a true links course, but I mean, it plays like a links course. It's a links style course. You have the pot bunkers which, very penalizing off the tee, especially the fairway ones. You have the fescue greens, the fescue rough. So it's going to play a lot like most links courses that we do see from time to time, and it's going to be a different test of golf than we typically see on the PGA Tour. The turf's going to be a lot tougher, so you're not going to be able to take big divots with your wedges and all that stuff. So golfers that have experience in Scotland, golfers that play well on links courses, I think make a lot of sense this week. I will note that we typically get really bad weather for this week and for the Open. It's typically windy, it's typically cold, it's typically rainy, but that is not the case this week, at least not at the moment in the forecast. Looks like it's going to be warm, looks like it's going to be sunny. And then Thursday, there's like 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday currently have hardly any wind, which is very rare for this part of the country, or sorry, for that country. So I do think the weather isn't going to play nearly as big of a role as we've seen in the past. And when we've seen tranquil weather at this event, we've seen the green regulation rate just skyrocket. We've seen the scores skyrocket. So I think we're going to be seeing a winning score in the 20 under par range. I think a lot of the field's going to hit 75 plus percent of the greens in regulation. So for me, that is going to discount the importance of around the green. I also think it's going to help the guys that typically play most of their golf on the PGA Tour. I think coming over and playing a course where that's easy, that they can don't have to deal with the wind and the rain and all that stuff, the crosswinds. I think it's going to help them quite a bit. So while I will be looking at a few of the non PGA Tour regulars, I do think it's certainly fine playing the guys that you're not used to playing at this event, especially in the tranquil conditions expected. So I have 9% way two off the tee. I have 3% way two driving distance. Now, Data Golf, their course fit tool has distance way more important than accuracy. I think it's because these fairways are tough to hit for everyone. So you might as well get some distance. It is a par 70 that's under 7,300 yards, but there are 3 par 5s on the course and there are 5 par 3s. So a little bit of a unique layout there. 12% weighted two strokes gained approach, 5% to around the green. I don't mind bumping this down this week. Again, I think if you're scrambling a lot when guys are hitting 80% of greens in regulation, you're probably going to be behind the 8 ball anyway. I have 8% weight two strokes gained putting. What I might end up doing, turning these to 1% and then turning these to 4% to kind of get more of the putting in the mix. 3% to birdie better, 3% to bogey avoidance. I did 5% to course history and 5% to strokes gained in Ireland and in the UK. 4% weight to courses where it's difficult to gain on approach and, easy to gain on approach and easy green regulation, and then driver heavy courses and courses that have big greens. Let's get to the overall rankings. We'll talk about the field for a little bit and then we'll get out of here. So at the very top, we have Scotty Scheffler, rating of 95. He's been decent, but not great at the Open and the Scottish Open in his career. Obviously, he's the best golfer in the world. He's number one in the stat model. He's pretty much number one in all the important metrics that we're looking at this week. But 13-1 is kind of expensive. There's not a lot of guys in the 6Ks that I love this week. So for me, he's not a priority. He's kind of talked about not or struggling on courses where he doesn't know where his ball is going to end up off the tee. So if he sees where his ball is going, he wants it to land there, stick there, not have a ton of rollout. That's not really the case with links courses. Sometimes you can get a bad bounce into the fairway bunkers. So that could have something to do with it. We also seen him struggle at Pinehurst, which is kind of the same. A lot of blind tee shots, a lot of breaks that could go your way depending on the bounce. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's a core play for me by any means. Rory just hasn't been great since winning the Masters. I think he's interesting, but not necessarily a guy that I feel great about this week. He has won here before in 2023. He hit that great iron. I want to say it was like a 3 or 4 iron on one of the final holes and ended up making a birdie or eagle. It was a pretty cool moment. One of the better shots of the year in really difficult conditions. Xander's won here before as well. Don't mind looking at him in tournaments. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him due to the fact that he's 10-1 and hasn't just been in the best of form this year. Love Tommy Fleetwood. Don't know how he's going to react coming off of another tough loss in the on the final hole to Keegan Bradley a couple weeks ago at the Travelers. But man, get him on links courses, get him in Ireland or Scotland, pretty much anywhere in Europe, and you feel pretty good about it. So he's my favorite starting point for lineups. I think Morikawa is interesting. He did have that comment about not being able to get used to hitting the balls off the difficult or the tough turf here, but then he came out and won the Open Championship that one year. So not sure what to do with that. He did fire his caddy, so who knows what's going on with him right now. It seems like a lot of off-course stuff. I would only look his way in tournaments. I do like Bobby Mack, won here last year, said it was as important to him as winning a major, which I thought was really cool. And just an easy guy to root for. So certainly don't mind starting with like a Tommy, Bobby Mack lineup. JT, man, just hasn't been great in Ireland and the UK, or it should say Scotland. I'll change that when I upload the model. Ludwig, no strong take there. I do like Sam Burns a little bit. He's been playing some great golf, five straight top 20s, a couple top 20s at this event too. I think he makes a lot of sense. I like Matt McNeely, a guy that can do a little bit of everything in the bag, gain strokes in all four facets. I do worry about Corey Connors a little bit. He does have the good course history here, but he had to withdraw from the final round of the U.S. Open with the wrist injury, and he was playing decently well. Like he wasn't, at the very bottom of the leaderboard. So I do worry about that a little bit. Wrist injuries can flare up for golfers over and over again. So I'd be careful rostering him this week. Straka, we've seen him almost win the Open Championship, but he has struggled here, so I'll probably be off of Straka. Jordan L. Smith, the guy that I love to play this week and next week. He's been in pretty good form. He has 4 top 7s in his last 7 events on the DP World Tour. Made the cut here in 2 of the last 3 years. So, yeah, a guy that I certainly think makes a lot of sense this week. Spawn, I'm still kind of off of him after his big win at the PGA. Harris English, I think it makes a lot of sense here, especially with the GIR rate expected to be so high this week. I think that helps a guy like him that can gain a bunch of strokes putting. Grazerman with another runner-up finish. This guy's had 4 runner-up finishes in the last calendar year. T21 here last year, also very good putter. He should benefit from easier conditions this week. Scott's been playing better. Fox, anytime you get him in Europe, makes a lot of sense. 4 straight top 20s for him too. A couple wins during that stretch. Aaron Rai, good iron player, should be able to, avoid the fairway bunkers with how accurate of a driver he is. Siwoo Kim's been playing well. Keith Mitchell's going to project well, but I just don't know if I can trust him this week. I do like Niergaard Peterson. His stats are great. The iron play has been great. Hits a ton of greens, good around the green. Just comes down to that putter. If he can putt well, I think he can have a really good week. Hovland's all the way down here. The guy that I do like that doesn't project well is going to be Matt Fitzpatrick. He gained over 9 strokes ball striking at the Rocket Classic, gained over 6 strokes ball striking at the PGA Championship, finished T8 in both of those events. He's nearly won here twice. Guy that we know the pedigree's there, so when he's finally starting to show some signs of life, I think now's the time to hop on him. Also like him as an outright bet. I think he's 45-1 right now is the number I got him at. So don't mind looking at that. And that'll do it for this week. So again, I'll change the headers up here. And then, feel free to download the model if you are a premium member at RotoGrinders. You can customize the model to your own liking. You can play with all these weights up here, and then you can upload the ratings that you create into Lineup HQ to build lineups based off those ratings. Want to wish everyone the best of luck. Hit that thumbs up button, and we will see you next week.